because there was no hopes of getting her out of there.
And just as rescuers try to reach her, the situation becomes even more dire. The rainy season in Brazil is marked by brief yet intense tropical downpours. January 11, 2011. 12 inches of rain fall overnight in the mountainous region outside Rio de Janeiro. It's a month's worth of rain in just 24 hours, causing the worst floods in decades. Elier de Sousa wakes up to flooding in the small town of São José do Vale do Rio Preto.
I was sleeping when the flood started, and there was only time to get my pets and start running.
Elier flees to her brother's home. He's already left, and she quickly becomes stuck.
I knew that I was trapped when the water swept the stairs away, and then there was no way I could come down.
Still, Elier believes she and her dogs will be okay.
I didn't think it could keep rising and rising like that, so much so that I just sat there on the table waiting.
Television reporter Bruno Micelli is covering the floods. What he sees is terrifying. Houses demolished in an instant.
In 10 seconds, the house was there, and then you look at it again, the house didn't exist anymore.
As his cameraman films from above the river, Bruno spots Elier below.
And she was alone with her dogs, screaming for help. And we saw that there was nobody there that could help her.
Elier's situation is about to go from bad to worse. Bruno watches as her only shelter crumbles all around her.
The wall behind her just broke down, and then the terrace was completely filled with water.
Soon Elier will have nothing left to hold on to, and she doesn't know how to swim.
The only part that was left was where I was sitting. I watched it destroy everything else.
Elier is in a desperate situation, terrified and alone.
All I could do was ask God for help, because nobody else was going to save me.
Bruno and the cameraman are too far away to offer Elier any help. Then Elier's neighbor, Gilberto Faraco, hears her screams.
Well, I heard her crying for help, for someone to save her, that she was going to die.
Gilberto is also trapped on his rooftop. The rushing water makes communication nearly impossible.
The river was making so much noise. There was no way for me to hear what anyone was telling me.
By a stroke of luck, Gilberto sees some construction rope on his roof. He and another neighbor, Daniel, throw it across the raging waters. Elier manages to catch the rope. It's her only hope of survival. She will almost certainly drown if it breaks.
Daniel was yelling really loud for me to tie the rope, to make a really tight knot.
Elier tries to save at least one of her dogs.
My greatest anxiety was about my pets.
It's a horrifying scene, and there's no time for second guesses.
Everything was happening so fast, there was no time to stop and think about what was going on.
With the rope tied haphazardly, and without a second to spare, Elier plunges into the roaring river. He's immediately swept downstream and taken under. As the rapids batter Elier, she grabs onto the slippery rope with both hands, forced to let go of her dog.
The water was just too strong and swept him away, and I had to leave the poor thing to its death. Poor thing, no one could save him.
For tense moments, it looks like Elier will also be swept away.
It was very, very dangerous. We really thought that the rope would break.
Elier hasn't made a knot to hold on to. With the unrelenting water pulling her down, she hangs on for her life as her neighbors scream in horror.
It was her hands that were gripping. There was no knot. The rope was very loose.
With Elier clinging to the rope with all of her strength, the neighbors on the roof brace themselves and pull.
We pull, and I couldn't see her. And I thought, I don't think I can pull anymore. I don't think I can stand it.
Slowly, painfully, Elier is hoisted up one floor at a time. As she dangles over the raging waters, no one is certain that she'll make it to the top without the rope breaking. Everyone holds their breath, grasp onto Inair and pull her into their arms. When she reaches the terrace, the entire group is overcome with emotion.
It was this huge sense of relief. Despite all the tension and fear we had experienced, there was also this intense happiness to have done that and to have saved someone's life.
Inair is one of the lucky ones. The rains wash away entire communities, and landslides send homes down hills, burying people beneath the mud. In the terrible days that follow, weather and rough terrain keep rescue crews from reaching remote areas. Survivors, many homeless, are left to recover the missing.
Yeah, more than 900 people died during the floods and mudslides, and more than 300 people are still missing.
The devastation is overwhelming. Lives and property lost, dreams destroyed. The waters have receded, but the memory of Inair's brush with death still haunts her.
It was all very sad. In my life, I've never seen so much water and so much disaster. There's no way you can forget something like that. I'll die remembering it. What the river takes, it doesn't bring back.